Hey everyone, this is Film Conscience, where the voices in my head do the talking. Over here we have the more critical, technical side of me, and over here we have the more emotional, intuitive side of me. And today we're going to be looking at Disney's A Christmas Carol, which is of course based on the classic story by Charles Dickens about Ebenezer Scrooge, a horrible, selfish old man who is encountered by the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, and shown his life to help him try and rediscover his Christmas spirit. So I'm going to let you guys take it away. What did you think?
Well, I think that this film really surpassed my expectations and actually turned out to be a decent version of A Christmas Carol.
All right, well, let's not get carried away here. I mean, the film was definitely not without its issues.
Come on, man. Would you get the Christmas tree out of your ass? Trust me, you're no angel. Anyway, I think the film did have a few issues, but I think that many of the scenes were handled with the grace and tact that the story deserved.
Tact, maybe, but grace? Really? I mean, some of the scenes, they were just so overblown and silly. And not where they were supposed to be either. It came off as a very showy film, and it wasn't really concentrating on the substance. I mean, what would happen if, you let Michael Bay direct Citizen Kane? You would essentially get the same effect.
I think the example you're looking for is Zack Snyder directing Watchmen. A bajing!
Yeah, man, was that a piece of shit. But seriously, though, I mean, you must see where I'm coming from.
No, I do. I'm just giving you a tough time. There was the occasional cringe moment we were talking about in our last episode. Like, what was up with that scene with Jacob Marley's ghost dislocating his jaw? What is this, The Grudge? No, it's A Christmas Carol. I mean, what the hell were these people thinking?
It was a shame to see some of the classic scenes, and not to mention some of my favorites, being shat on by completely over-the-top, unnecessary visuals. I mean, there was that one part with the ghost of Christmas Present who is showing Scrooge the two children representing ignorance and want. I mean, I'm not going to describe what goes on, but Robert Zemeckis, must have gone temporarily insane while directing that scene. Either that or, Tim Burton's Demon Spawn took over.
I want to talk about the visual style, actually,
yeah.
Which, Zemeckis has used in Beowulf and Polar Express, because it's kind of a controversial issue among filmmakers and audience members alike. So,
I mean, what is there to say? Like some of the scenes in the movie, it just comes off as kind of unnecessary and a little bit creepy. It's kind of like one of those girls' dolls that, have that kind of creepy vibe, but then, the girl just goes the extra mile by making her up like a prostitute.
Okay, what is it with you and girls' toys?
I don't know.
Okay, well, anyway, yeah, you're absolutely right. The human characters in particular do get a little bit frightening.
Exactly.
Oddly enough, all but Scrooge. And I think the reason that his character worked is because he was more of a caricature than an actual human being. Where, in the case of the movie, a human being is more of a soulless creature ready to devour your soul.
While it continues to be an odd choice, I must confess there were some parts that were stunning.
And that's what the point I'm trying to get to. It's really conflicting in more ways than one. Like the parts we were talking about that get a little too showy, some of them look great, and in theory are really cool and creative ideas.
It's just too bad that they didn't translate or contribute to the feel of the film.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, how about the performances?
Well, I have to admit, Jim Carrey as Scrooge, I don't think they could have made a better choice.
Couldn't agree more.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I think that he did an impeccable job, and he really acted as kind of the glue that held the whole movie together, much like his comedies, because let's face it, they didn't really have much going for them other than old crazy-faced Carrey.
In all seriousness, though, I think that Jim Carrey's performance really helps accentuate some of the more of the beautiful moments in the film.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the first time the Ghost of Christmas Future comes, man, that scene still sticks with me. It's absolutely sublime for a minute, and then, it goes back to David Lynch's and David Cronenberg's theme park.
Wouldn't that make David Lynch's theme park?
Yes, I suppose it would.
Yeah, but going back to the subject of the ghosts, the first two, The Ghost of Christmas Past and The Ghost of Christmas Present, while they were interesting ideas, I felt that they got a little too silly for my taste. But it was like you said, The Ghost of Christmas Future, that was both a great idea and for the most part well executed.
Now, Gary Oldman was in this too, and this is where it gets a little interesting for me, because I freaking love Gary Oldman, but when it came to him playing Jacob Marley, keeping in mind, of course, that he's a tormented ghost, it still managed to get a tad over the top. I don't know how.
His Bob Cratchit, on the other hand, while he didn't get a lot of screen time, that was also a terrific performance. Albeit it was a little ruined by the fact that his character looked like a rapist, as if designed by J.R.R. Tolkien.
And also, you know, Gary Oldman played Tiny Tim.
Yeah, the less said about that, the better.
Yeah, I suppose you're right, yeah.
Alright, you guys, thank you very much. I think I've got enough here. Thank you very much.
Alright, happy holidays, man.
Hey, same to you. So, here's my conclusion. Disney's A Christmas Carol is riddled with some poor choices, mostly consisting of showing off the sometimes awkward animation. While there are parts that look great, most of them come off as entirely pointless. That being said, however, the parts they get right are astounding. The scenes that stay truer to the mood of a spiritual journey get you really emotionally invested, and with the help of Jim Carrey's great performance, I actually find myself wanting to see this movie again, and I would recommend it to anyone to see it at least once. So it may not work as a whole, but there are parts that are nearly masterful. This has been Film Conscience, where the voices in my head do the talking. Happy holidays, everyone.